In this on-assignment video, I'm going to walk you through a recent shoot that I did for Olympus, shooting on location with two young Instagrammers and the Pen EP1 camera. And just to make it fun, I shot the entire assignment as JPEGs, no RAW. Stay tuned and I'll tell you why. Hey gang, recently the marketing team at Olympus asked me if I'd be interested in spending a day photographing two up-and-coming Instagrammers as part of a promotion that they're doing for the Pen EP1 camera. Now you know I am always up for an adventure, so of course I said yes, and I decided to up the stakes, and instead of shooting the images with my EM1 Mark II, I figured why not shoot the images with the Pen EP1. And just to prove that you can make great images without the most expensive cameras and tons of megapixels and dynamic range, I decided that I would shoot JPEGs instead of RAW images. Now Olympus has been working with Instagrammers to promote the Pen EP1 cameras, so for this event they wanted to spend a day with two young up-and-coming Instagrammers and photograph them shooting images for their Instagram profiles in the Dumbo section of Brooklyn, New York. My job was to provide some coaching to the girls to help them improve their photography and to create some images that could be shared on the @GetOlympus social profiles of the girls enjoying their new Olympus cameras. So this means a run and gun shoot to create images that show happy people enjoying a new camera. The shots will be done with minimal setup and direction, and they needed to be shot with the girls' Instagram profiles in mind. Olympus sent me one of these cameras about a week before the shoot so that I had some time to familiarize myself with it. Now I have to tell you that the specs are pretty darn impressive for a camera this small. This camera sports a 16 megapixel live MOS sensor and 3-axis image stabilization. It has a very solid metal body, a 3-inch tilting LCD screen that flips down 180 degrees, making the camera excellent for selfies and vlogging. The EP1 uses contrast detection autofocus with 121 focus points, and it tops out with a maximum shutter speed of 1/4000th of a second, and it can shoot sequences up to 8.6 frames per second. A built-in pop-up flash for low light and outdoor fill, and low energy Bluetooth and Wi-Fi technology that allow for super easy image share with the Olympus Image Share app, meaning straight from the camera to social media in just moments. Now I forgot to mention, just like my EM1 Mark II, the EP1 shoots 4K video and does live composite, interval shooting, in-camera multiple exposures, exposure bracketing, focus bracketing, custom white balance, face detection and eye detection autofocus, and well, the list goes on. Oh, and it even has the famous Olympus art filters. The camera is sold packaged with the M.Zuiko 14-42 f3.5 to 5.6 easy lens, and a custom carry bag, along with the usual camera strap and battery with charger. The camera and lens combo weighs just 380 grams. That's less than a pound. While the marketing team at Olympus was coordinating with the Instagrammers, the decisions were made to let the girls pick their own outfits and do their own hair and makeup, so that everything we were creating reflected their style from their Instagram profiles. Now as for me, I had never been to Dumbo, New York, so I made a trip there in advance to familiarize myself with the area and get a sense of the location and what the lighting would be like at various times of the day. I took the EP1 with me and I shot a few reference images and took lots of notes so that I could map out a path for the day of the shoot. Now this information was then coordinated with the folks at Olympus so that we could arrange meeting times and locations for the shoot day, also so that we had a plan for where and when to break for lunch, and to be sure that we knew where the public bathrooms were so that we had spots for the girls to be able to change outfits throughout the day. I'll admit, when I first saw the camera, I was thinking nice point and shoot. When I opened the camera and read the instruction manual, yes, I read the instruction manual. About 2 days after I read that quick tip setup sheet, but I did read the manual. I was honestly blown away, and I started planning for lenses and gear that would allow me to spend 6 to 8 hours on foot wandering around Dumbo, New York. My bag for the day was the Think Tank Urban Approach 15 backpack. My challenge: be prepared for almost anything, but don't take every piece of gear that I own. I forgot to mention that this little camera uses any of the Olympus M.Zuiko lenses, so I decided that my primary lens for the day would be the M.Zuiko 12-100 f4 Pro lens. For you full-frame shooters, this is a 24mm to 200mm equivalent. I can't go anywhere without my favorite 45mm f1.2 Pro lens, and for fun, I took along the 8mm f1.8 Pro fisheye lens. And of course, the 14 to 42mm kit lens that came with the camera. My backup camera for the day? The Olympus Tough TG5, a 12-megapixel still camera that also shoots 4K video and is small enough to fit in a pocket. And just for good measure, I packed an Olympus FL900R speedlight, which can be fired from the hot shoe of the EP1 or remotely using the pop-up flash as the trigger. And I packed a small flexible tripod and a 32-inch collapsible 5-in-1 reflector diffuser. I also packed some spare batteries, phone chargers, battery chargers, snacks, and water. We met in Dumbo, New York at 10 a.m. in the morning and spent the first hour letting the girls open their cameras and showing them how to use them. Now this is an Instagram promotion, so we were also doing lots of posts on the @GetOlympus Instagram story throughout the day. Once the cameras were set up and the girls had a basic understanding of how they work, we headed out and we began to shoot. The day was a mix of me shooting them shooting each other, the marketing team from Olympus shooting me, shooting the girls. Well, you get the idea. We took a ton of photos and we had a lot of fun. Now, speaking as a photographer that is used to shooting with the high-end cameras like the EM1 Mark II, I have to say the EP1 held its own in so many ways. Obviously, the big difference right away, no viewfinder. Given that I've used viewfinders for my entire career, it took just a little while to grow accustomed to viewing the LCD screen, but the camera made the transition very easy. The LCD was easy to view, even in bright sunlight. The touch to focus feature made accurate focusing quick and simple. The face detection autofocus worked just as seamlessly as it does with my EM1 Mark II. Add the 12 to 100mm zoom, and it turned out that was the only lens that I needed all day. The other lenses never left the backpack. Now let's be clear, I am not suggesting that you should be shooting JPEGs. I wholeheartedly support the philosophy that you should always shoot RAW, so that you have the digital equivalent of a negative that will allow you to get the most out of your images in post-processing. But I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to prove the point that if you practice good photography, you can shoot JPEGs and you can shoot with a small camera and still create great images. In this situation, the real concern was that the sun was in and out from behind the clouds all day. When I visited Dumbo to do my location scouting, it was overcast the entire time, which actually worked great with the muted, earthy tones of this Brooklyn neighborhood. But on the day of the shoot, the sun was out for a good portion of the day and moving in and out behind the clouds for the rest. That meant my subjects were front-lit, backlit, side-lit, the lighting was good, bad, and horrible. So my exposures needed to be right on. Now for those of you that are already stressed out because I shot JPEG and because I'm not using some big beast of a camera, you might want to sit down for this next statement. I also shot auto ISO. Yes, I used a 4-letter word, but my assignment required a lot of run and gun shooting and keeping up with these two Instagrammers as they were wandering the streets of Dumbo. So it was important for me to be able to shoot most of the day at f4. But also at a fast enough shutter speed to ensure that I wasn't going to have subject motion or camera motion in the extreme cases. My go-to shutter speed was 1/400th of a second. My ISOs for the day ranged from ISO 100 up to ISO 800 using the auto ISO setting. Most of the shots came in around 200 ISO. The Olympus Pen EP1 is a beast of a camera in a small and attractive body. For an Instagrammer or vlogger, this camera runs circles around the competition, especially when you consider the cost and the range of lenses that are available for it. Now don't worry, I'm not giving up my EM1 Mark II bodies anytime soon, and I'm not suggesting that you should either. But I will be taking this camera as my backup body on those days when I want to or need to travel light. My real reason for sharing this assignment with you was to give you a little more background into the work that happens before the shoot, even on a run and gun location shoot like this one. I also want to encourage you to challenge yourself, step out of your comfort zone more often, work with a small camera, shoot JPEGs, do things that will cause you to slow down and pay more attention to your work. Instagram created the one-click filter trend that I am definitely not a fan of. There are, however, quite a few Instagrammers who have taken it to a whole new level by creating presets in programs like Lightroom or Photoshop or Luminar and flavoring all the images on their profile to have a similar look and feel. Nina, who is a travel blogger and Instagrammer, does this low contrast, high key treatment on her images that makes for a visually stunning presentation. So my job was to create images that fit her style and that would look good with her preset treatment. Our other Instagrammer, Gabrielle, is also a model, and like many models today, she's using her Instagram profile to help her get signed by the bigger agencies to further her career. I have links to both of their profiles as well as the @GetOlympus Instagram profile in the description below the video. Until next time, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe so that you don't miss any videos. And please, don't keep all this cool stuff to yourself. Share it with your photography friends. Remember, photography is not a competition. It is a passion to be shared. Now go pick up that camera and shoot something, because your best shot, it's your next shot. So keep learning, keep thinking, and keep shooting. Adios.